Thank you, Gary, for that lovely introduction. Unaccustomed as I am to Gary being married, I'd like to say that when Gary asked me to be his best man, I was honoured. Not honoured, terrified was the word I was looking for. But then I thought to myself, I said, Tom, if Therese can stand up in front of her friends and family and promise to live with Gary for the rest of her life, then the least I can do is stand up in front of a few people and say a few words. It's wonderful to see everybody here, Gary and Therese's family and friends, for this wonderful day in Edinburgh, or the scene of the crime, as I like to call it. As Gary has put it so well already, Gary and Therese met here in 2005. Got married here in 2007, now in 2000, got engaged here in 2007, and are now married here in 2008. So the immediate question asks itself, what were you doing in 2006? Was Edinburgh closed that year? We've heard from Gary a little bit about how Gary and Therese met, but allow me to add a little detail, and please forgive me if I get a little emotional because I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. So, any great romance starts off with a memorable line, some statement that lets you know that something wonderful is about to happen, that two people have met and they're about to embark on a wonderful adventure together. It could be, you had me at hello, or went for Art Thou Romeo, or we'll always have Paris. In Gary and Therese's case it was, have you got booze back in your place? Play about it, actually. Now, I've known Gary, or as my mother refers to him, the foxy fella, for some time now, and I'd like to share some thoughts and reflections on this, his wedding day. Now, I know nobody wants to hear me make fun of Gary. Okay?
What? Bring it on.
Okay, it's a tradition, and traditions must be observed at times like this. Gary has a great sense of humour. He enjoys a laugh and a joke. He's a Tottenham Hotspur supporter. There have been some suggestions that those two facts are connected, but actually, in fact, speaking about Spurs, I recently received an email from Gary about Robbie Keane's proposed transfer to Liverpool. It's a very short email, 2 words. The second one was the opposite of on. Gary is well known for his attention to detail. His liking for things to be just so. When I first knew him in Luxembourg, he was the only guy I knew who had more cleaning products in his cupboard than beer in his fridge. But now he's married, that's all changed. There's no beer in the fridge whatsoever. He's a pretty stylish kind of guy. He likes his clothes, he likes to be well turned out, I mean, especially today. But, you know, usually, he always makes an effort. Now, I'm not for 1 second calling him vain, but I did hear that Carly Simon was talking about writing a song about him. He's a keen sportsman. He enjoys both playing and watching sport. He plays football every week, and he recently went to Amsterdam to play cricket. That's what he said he was doing. He's a cricket. He was playing cricket. It was. Gary has adapted very much to the Irish way of life since he's moved over. He throws the odd word or two of Irish slang into his conversation. The word bleeding turns out. The word liner as well, although he reserves that for me. He's got a season ticket for the rugby at Leinster, and he goes to Croker to watch the Dubs play. Although Therese was very relieved about this, but there's one habit of the Dub football supporters that he hasn't taken to heart, and that's turning up for the main event on time. He's a very social guy. He enjoys the occasional beer and a game of poker. Actually, he went so far as to invent his own game of poker. We call it Gary's Crazy Game. Now, if you've never played Gary's Crazy Game, then that's a good start. Keep it that way. There's an old saying about a fool and his money that's very appropriate here. I should know because I've been that fool on many occasions. One thing about Gary is the number of friends he's had. He's always been able to make friends no matter where he was, in London, in Luxembourg, in Dublin, in Edinburgh. And what's even more amazing is that he's kept in contact with all those friends. And I recently had the opportunity to meet a lot of those old friends when the Stag in Liverpool was a great chance for Gary's friends, old and new, to get together to enjoy a drink, get to know each other. And fire paintballs are very frustrating to both the groom and best man, which we still haven't forgiven them for, actually. No, we're still walking with limps. As I said before, Gary and I have been friends for a long, long time, and despite the impression I may have just given, he's very, very important to me. We've been through a lot together, and we know that we can count on each other for anything. It really is an honour to be standing here beside him on this day. And I've come to know Therese well. She is a wonderful, beautiful, caring, intelligent, capable woman who brings light into everybody's life, everyone whose life she enters. It's an honour to call her my friend. And it's obvious to anyone who has ever spent any time with Gary and Therese that they are perfect for each other. I knew this a long time before I even got to know Therese, because all I had to do was listen to Gary. The way he talked about her, the way he looked at her when she didn't think that he was looking at her, the way she looked back at him, the way they talked about each other, I knew that these two were going to be together for an awful long time. They give something to each other that nobody else can give them. They have the rest of their lives to enjoy the love that they have cemented here in Forest today. That's enough of all that kind of stuff. I don't want to give the impression that being married is easy. Because it's not. Apart from my marriage, that's it. But I would like to offer Gary some advice in the immortal words of Ogden Nash, to keep your marriage brimming with love in the loving cup. Whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up. Now, I've one last duty to perform, and it's one I've been looking forward to since I was asked to be best man. I'd like to ask you all to be upstanding. Raise your glasses to the bride and groom. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, Tom.